What's up, everyone? This is Changing of the Hip Hop Guards. It's me, Uncle E. That's my partner, the journalist Sincere. And today we have none other than Wise, aka Lito Brigante of the legendary group Stetsasonic. For those who should know, coming straight out of Brooklyn, classics upon classics, and still here doing it with us in 2023, man. Thank you, Wise, for joining us. It's a pleasure.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to get this going. And before we find out what Wise is doing these days, man, if you could do us a favor and take us back a little bit and let everybody know where you were born and raised and a little bit about coming up as a young kid.
Okay, well, me, I was born in Puerto Rico, actually. You know what I'm saying? And, moved out, came out to New York and stuff. I was living up in the Bronx from the time I was born to the time I was 4. And then from 4 on, I moved into Brooklyn.
Yes,
But moved into Brooklyn and stuff. And, and well, now I live in Virginia, but I grew up in Brooklyn and stuff. And,
How was that? How was teenage years for Wise growing up in Brooklyn?
Teenage years was great, man. I have to admit, I really, like, as a teenager, I came into my own. You know what I'm saying? That when I was younger, like in elementary school and junior high school and stuff, man. I was always popular for something. In junior high school, I was popular for dancing. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, they had, freestyle, people freestyling. It was like break dancing, but y'all know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So I was real good at that. In high school for the human beatbox.
Okay.
I started actually doing the beatbox like during junior high school, but then I gradually worked my way. Once I got into high school, I was like the Pied Piper. You know what I'm saying? That I used to kick the beat in the hallway and people used to follow me and dance behind me and stuff, And at one point, rest in peace, Prince Marky D used to go to high school with me. So we used to kick it in the hallway and stuff. I used to kick the beat and he used to kick his rhymes and stuff.
Okay. Now, when you get to high school, though, what is it that attracts you? Like, how did you even come across starting to do the beatbox?
Well, it actually started like in junior high school because the thing about it, I know how to play instruments. I don't know how to read a word of music, but I play instrument, by ear. So I know how to play any type of instrument. But one of my favorite instruments that got me into doing the human beatbox was the kazoo. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to have a kazoo and bang on the table. Come on, y'all remember that?
I know, but you're talking about that little instrument that you.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna these days will know what that is.
Yeah. But anyway, I was like using that, and then started banging on the tables, and then after a while, I just started to do like sounds with my mouth. I was just experimenting and stuff, and you know what I'm saying? I started doing sounds with my mouth, and little by little, I started getting a whole lot better and stuff. And before you knew it, I was doing a human beatbox. There was a time that I used to carry like toothpaste caps that I used to use sort of like a microphone, and it sounded real loud when I walked down the hallway. Wait, let me see. So I even used to use like pen caps. Let me see if I got a pen cap over here.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
But I used to use toothpaste caps because they were smaller. So, you know what I'm saying? The sound was a whole lot better. This is a little bit, like too big. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I needed at least like half the size for it to be really loud.
It's incredible the things that cats were able to come up with and innovate, right? Just on the fly.
No doubt.
That's dope.
So before getting into hip hop, let's say all the way in, who at this time were you looking at as far as influences? Who was influencing you during this time?
Back in the days when I was looking at Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, when they dropped that joint Super Rap, and oh my goodness, I was in love with that record. You know, don't get me wrong, I loved Sugar Hill. You know, they did a good thing with Good Times and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Fatback Band, you know, they was okay. They, you know, they started things off. You know what I'm saying? Curtis Blow, of course, you know, but Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, that Super Rapping joint was the one that got me to want to do what I do.
Right. Now, before meeting Stet and all those guys, were you a solo artist, or were there earlier groups before Stetsasonic that you were part of?
It was this one guy from high school, you know what I'm saying, that he was also a human beatbox. So we linked up together and stuff, you know what I'm saying, and we was like, you know, like trying to work something out and stuff like that, but you know, it didn't quite work out for us because the thing about it is that, you know, we had creative differences and stuff, you know, like we hooked up a routine and stuff. He wanted to call it Heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? And I said, well, let's just call it Mouth to Mouth. It makes sense because we're both two human beatboxers. You know what I'm saying? Then he wanted, because his name, he went by the name of Essence. You know what I'm saying? So then he wanted to call the group Essence and Natural Sounds, you know, calling me Natural Sounds. And that's when I had already came up with the name The Human Mix Machine. So I said, your name is already on top of mine. So let's just call us Essence and the Human Mix Machine. He didn't want to do that. You know? So we kept running into, you know, disagreements and stuff that I was like, nah, you know what? You do you and I do me, because this is just not working out and stuff.
Right. So at this time, are you pursuing a solo career?
Right now, you know, we're Stetsasonic, we're in the midst of creating.
No, not right now. But back then, when you guys didn't work out, did you pursue a solo career?
Nah. I didn't pursue a solo career. I was just, you know, just chilling with the fellas in the projects and stuff, and I would kick the beats, and you know what I'm saying, they would rhyme, but I was never like attached to any group or anything like that. It was this one guy that me and Daddy O and Delight had, that was a mutual friend, you know, that he the one that hooked us up together, you know, because he asked me, was I down with anybody and stuff. I said, nah, I just do this for the sake of doing it and stuff. And he was like, yo, I have, you know, these two guys, these two rappers I could introduce you to and stuff if you want to meet them. So, you know, he introduced me to Daddy O and Delight, took me to, you know, to Daddy O's place. I met them, and the rest was history.
So now when you, okay, there's two things. When you first meet them, were they already established as Stetsasonic, the three MCs, or
they were actually, you know, they were Stetsasonic 3 MCs, right, you know, but they were pretty much, you know, like a local group. It wasn't until I got down with the group, you know, that I added a different type of chemistry to the group, that we started, you know, getting well known locally.
Okay.
You know, because we started going all around and stuff. I mean, it was the Fat Boys, but a year later.
Right.
That's what Stetsasonic was, because Stetsasonic, when it was me, Daddy O, and Delight, and we used to do shows locally. Prince Paul wasn't with us at the time. Fruit Corn wasn't with us. Bobby Simmons wasn't with us, and DBC wasn't with us. It was just us three. Okay. So we started off like that, and then we got into a rap contest, basically the same rap contest that the Fat Boys got into the previous year. We got into, you know what I'm saying, and we won the contest.
Nice. That now, before meeting them, were you already experimenting with rhyming?
Yeah, I was actually, you know, like I kicked rhymes here and there and stuff. I was writing a little, you know, little something here and there and stuff like that, you know, because I wanted, you know, I wanted to be versatile, so I wanted to do both. Okay. But I wanted to get, you know, in the industry, you know, using the human beatbox first and see where that took me.
Gotcha. Now, meeting Daddy O and you were doing the human beatbox, playing around a little bit with rhyming. At what point does the concept and idea of Stetsasonic sort of being a band start to formulate?
It starts like once when we won that rap contest, like I was telling you, it was me, Daddy on Delight. It was just us three.
Right.
You know, so Sugar Hill, you know, they gave us a contract. It was a 13-page contract that we had a lawyer check out, and the lawyer said, well, you know, in 13 pages, they saying for you guys to record for free. And we didn't sign with them. So, you know, now this rap contest that we won, Mr. Magic was sponsoring it in WBLS.
Wow,
so,
nice.
You know, we won the rap contest, and when we turned Sugar Hill down, we was a part of the original Juice Crew. A lot of people didn't know that, though. You know, we were a part of the original Juice Crew, and we was rolling with Mr. Magic and stuff, you know, and he's the one that introduced us to Tommy Boy.
Okay.
You know, and Tommy Boy, you know, they presented a much better contract, and, you know, we signed with them and stuff. But prior to signing, you know, we, you know, little by little, we was building up the group and turning it into a band. You know what I'm saying? Fruit Corn was one of the next ones to join. After Fruit Corn, Prince Paul. Prince Paul was the next one to join after Fruit Corn. We found Prince Paul at a block party jamming and stuff. So we was like, yo, we gotta have him. And nice. Paul was 16. I was like 17 when I got down with the group.
Wow.
So we was, you know, we were really young and stuff like that. Like, you know, we, like I said, we were still in high school. You know, after Paul came DBC, the keyboard player, and after DBC came Bobby. And at that point, you know, we knew we had something. You know, we had something different.
Right. So it kind of just started formulating organically, and it just so happens that the pieces that you guys started putting together, you know, one plays the drums, another one is talented at doing this, and now you see what you. Nice. Okay.
Yes, the chemistry, you know, was right.
Right. Wow. Nice.
You talked a little bit about going to Tommy Boy. Before that, were you shopping demos, going to other labels, maybe a Def Jam, some others, or was Tommy Boy the first stop?
It was actually, there was another small label in New Jersey. I think it was called, if I'm not mistaken, it was called Silk City Sounds. You know, and they wanted to try to sign us and stuff. You know, they gave us like a 1-page contract, but our attorney said they not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, we never signed with them. They were, you know, very small label in New Jersey. We met up with them and stuff, and you know, he didn't have any rap acts. He had, you know, like other singing acts and stuff like that, but you know, he was interested in us, but the contract wasn't really saying anything, so we didn't sign.
Right. What were some of the earlier shows you guys did as a group before recording your debut album?
There was a show that we did at the Flatbush Boys Club. You know, we had performed there, and I remember that was my first time ever performing with the group. We used to rehearse, you know, routines and stuff at this rec center in East New York. So we were always a stage show type of group. So we always had something set up in case we showed up like to a local facility and we was able to get on, you know what I'm saying, or to a club and we was able to get on stage and stuff and just do our thing, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we were always, like I said, a stage show group. We performed our first show together with just me, Daddy on Delight, the Flatbush Boys Club. They started off rapping to, you know, to some music that they had on the cassette and stuff, you know, was playing and they was rapping. And then little by little, I started coming out on stage, but I was under a sheet, like a black sheet. And there was a microphone on the floor waiting for me. So I go in, you know, I'm coming in, I have the black sheet on. And as I go down and I pick up the microphone, so then we start doing a routine that is a human beatbox routine. So once they get to the punch and I start kicking a beat, I start rising up slowly, you know what I'm saying? Slowly wearing that black sheet. And then also I take the sheet off and I start kicking a beat and everybody loses their mind. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because I also started emulating Buff, you know, rest in peace. I also started emulating Buff. from the Fat Boys, and everybody was like, and at the time I was weighing like about 140 pounds, and a lot of people couldn't believe somebody that thin could kick the beat like that.
So would you say that was Buff one of your, like someone that you kind of looked to as far as getting inspiration for the human beatbox?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When the Fat Boys came out, I have to admit that and this is how I feel personally. I really feel that Buff paved the way for all the human beatbox. Sorry, Doug, but I feel Buff was the one that paved the way for all the human beatboxes.
I think I can, if I remember correctly, Buff was probably one of the first ones I remember hearing.
Yes.
And then I mean, shortly or kind of right there, Dougie Fresh also. But I remember really enjoying and hearing Buff.
Yeah.
And really liking his style actually.
Yeah, because Buff, his sound, it was thick. It was.
Yeah. He had that
bass. yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I got to give it to him. Thing about it, Buff is from around the way too. From East New York, where we weren't too far from each other.
Right. You talked a little bit about the contracts, the 13-page that was going to have you guys recording for free, the 1-page that wasn't saying anything. What was it about Tommy Boy that you guys felt comfortable signing there?
Well, number one, Mr. Magic took us there and stuff. Mr. Magic, rest in peace. He definitely, believed in us and stuff. We had an attorney check it out. It was a, pretty standard contract, but it was decent that even till today, I still get royalties. So it was a pretty decent contract. And the thing about it, there's other cats that don't get royalties right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember looking at a interview on YouTube with Snoop Dogg, and Snoop have never received a royalty check.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, but I gotta thank God that till this day, as a matter of fact, I just received a royalty check just the other day. Went direct deposit into my bank account, but I still receive royalties.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I receive them from 3 different companies, you know what I'm saying? And they all come like at different times, but they show up, when I don't expect it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nice. Good feeling. So you're a teenager, I imagine at this time when you guys signed to Tommy Boy, becoming a young man. Where are you at mentally going into the creative process of On Fire with the guys?
And I'm gonna be honest, because the thing about it, I was almost not on the album on Fire. You know what I'm saying? What happened was once we got the recording contract, and we got the deal, because it was me. I contributed for us to getting the deal in the first place. You know what I'm saying? With going, with the rap contest and everything, because when we were doing the rap contest and I dropped the beatbox, Daddy on Delight didn't rap. All they did was crowd parts. It was the beat that got the crowd. Because I was doing so many sounds. I was doing scratches and stuff. I was emulating Buff. I was doing a whole bunch of sounds. So, at that time, I mean, think about it. In 1984, nobody was doing what I was doing. I'm the first human beatbox to do scratches. Nobody was doing what I was doing.
Wow.
Take
us back to that recording process of On Fire. What were those sessions like?
When we were recording, because I was there with in some of the sessions, because I wasn't like rapping on most of, because On Fire had the guys rapping through most of them. The only cut that I rapped was Faye, Just Say Stet. I mean, I was doing a beatbox. Faye, Just Say Stet, and Rock de la Stet, I was doing a human beatbox on. Now, Rock de la Stet was originally a demo. And we tried to duplicate it. We tried to go into the studio once we signed with Tommy Boy and duplicate Rock de Lestat, and we could not duplicate it the way we had it, you know, on our demo. So that was a demo, Rock de Lestat. So Just Say Stat, we did, you know, we recorded it, Tommy Boy and stuff, you know, we put everything together and stuff. Everybody did their part. I was doing a human beatbox on there and stuff. Faye was the cut that, you know, Daddy O came up with Faye. And I just got creative with the human beatbox. Now, I don't know if you heard Faye before, you know, well, you had to have heard Faye. You know what I'm saying? That I was the first human beatboxer. I mean, if you think about it, you know, to kick a beat with a tune at the same time. I did it on Faye. You know what I'm saying? So if you think about it, I mean, when Dougie Fresh came out with Lottie Dottie, he didn't do that. When Just Ice came out with Latoya, they didn't do that. You know, I was the first one to do that, to do the human beatbox, to kick a beat and a tune at the same time. You know, but anyway, in the process, like I said, I almost wasn't on that album except for Just Say Stat and Rock de Lestat, and Rock de Lestat because it was a demo, so they, you know, they added it on. So the light comes up to me, put his arm around my shoulder, and it says to me, "Hey, Wise, you know, we're not gonna have you record on this album. We just want to save you as a surprise." Yo, I was heated. I was heated because, you know what I'm saying, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have got the record deal in the first place.
Right. What was the surprise?
What it was, you know, like for me to come out on stage like the same way I came out with the Black Sheep almost. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But you know, if it wasn't for Daddy O, I wouldn't have came out you know, with Faye, you know what I'm saying, doing Faye and stuff. Daddy O was like, I got an idea for me and Wise to do Faye. You know, I wrote it and this and that. So, you know, I helped him produce Faye and stuff, and we put it together, and it worked. It sounded really good.
Right. Do you feel like you get the credit you deserve when beatboxing comes up, like you said, to being the first to do it with the tune?
I say that you know, I don't see myself getting enough credit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've done the human beatbox. I brought it, you know, helped bring it to the forefront and stuff with my own style. You know what I'm saying? I know overseas, you know, when I go overseas, yeah, I get a whole bunch of credit out there. You know, but in the States, you know, it's not too many people that, you know, have really taken the time to listen to a Stetsasonic record to hear the human beatbox portions and stuff like that and say, hey, this guy is not bad.
Right.
What about when it came to rhyming? At what point, you know, did you say, you know, let me try and get a verse on a single or a record?
What I did was because I was saying and this is working on the second album, because the first album I hardly, you know, did the human beatbox. You know, I did it on 3 cuts of the first album. So the second album is when I said, well, you know, let me start rhyming, at least trying to get on some more cuts, you know, just on rhyming and not doing a human beatbox. So when they came up with a cut called GBC Let the Music Play, you know, I wrote for it and stuff. And then I said to the guys, I said, guys, I really would like to do a verse on this one right here. That was the B-side of Sally. So I said, I would really like to get a verse on here. I wrote for it. And when I wrote for it, the guys loved it, you know, so they put me in. So, you know, little by little, I also got a verse on Float On. So gradually, you know, I was working my way into being an MC and working my way out of being a human beatbox.
Okay. Going back to that first album, when it dropped, what kind of reaction did you get from the general public as well as the peers in the industry?
people were loving it. They love, you know, that it was raw. That album was, you know, it was very raw and stuff. If you listen to it, it wasn't like the second album. The second album, you could see that we were starting to come into our own. But the first album, it was the type of album that we were just feeling everything out, feeling, you know, like that hip hop atmosphere out. You know, listening to that first album, I mean, we were hungry, you know. We were definitely hungry and stuff. And we were just, you know, pretty much going with the flow, the way that they were doing, you know, beats and stuff like that, raw beats, and, you know, as opposed to the second album and even the third album. And I'm not sure if you guys heard of the third album, Blood, Sweat, and No Tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You know that with that album, I was, you know, strictly rapping. I wasn't kicking the beat on that album at all. I was strictly rapping because I started coming into my own. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't to, you know, to replace Fruit Corn, because Fruit Corn had left after the second album.
Right.
I was just, you know, I was coming into my own whether Fruit Corn was there or not. Because the thing about it is that I wanted more play, and I couldn't get it doing the human beatbox. So I said, let me, you know, develop myself and, you know, get better at rapping and stuff. And let me get, you know, on more of these tracks so people can hear what I got.
So you said you almost didn't make the first album, then you did make it. At that particular time, like when you guys signing the contracts and everything, are you officially part of? So you're also a member of the group.
Yes, I signed with the group and stuff. All of us signed. And the thing about it, I don't know, you know, you heard of Ready Roxy, Will Smith's Ready. Me and him talked, you know, like a while ago, like years back, we talked and stuff like that. And he wasn't signed, you know. Will was signed and Jeff was signed, but he wasn't signed, you know.
Right.
So I don't know if you know, if you've heard, you know, that he sued Will Smith trying to get royalties and stuff, you know. And I told him, I you know, I asked him, I said, well, were you signed with the label? You know, and he said, no, I'm not signed. And I said, well, technically, I mean, he doesn't have to give you anything. I'm being honest, you know what I'm saying? I said, with me, I'm signed, so, you know, I'm entitled to get those royalties and stuff, you know, regardless to me not being on the record. I still get royalties for all those songs, you know, because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. That was kind of where I wanted to go with that. You know, it's like, it's pretty, and the reason why I also wanted to touch on it, because it's really interesting and great, because not everybody did business the right way all the time. So I just want to commend, you know, Daddy O and everybody that was involved for doing the right thing by you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Cool. So after that debut album does its thing, I believe it's 86 going into 87. How is life changing for you personally?
Is getting pretty good, actually, you know, at that time, because I mean, even though there was a lot of us in the group, because everybody knows that, and I'm sure everybody is like, how do they get paid? How do they split the money and this and that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it back then, and I want to put it to you guys so that, you know, you're gonna get what I'm saying. Back then, it was a really good paying job. You know what I'm saying? That back then in 84, $6 an hour was a good wage. As opposed, you know what I'm saying? Because minimum wage around that time was like $3.25. So if you got $6 an hour, that was good. You understand what I'm saying? And we were making a whole lot more than that individually. You know, that even though it was, you know, 6 of us, it was still like a good, we didn't become millionaires, but it paid the bills. And you know what I'm saying? I was able to buy nice clothes and this, you know what I'm saying? It was a good paying job, because when we was on the road, you know what I'm saying? We would do shows 5 days a week. We was on tour for like, you know, years. You know, so the payday, I mean, you know, if I'm getting paid, you know, $2,000 a night, and I'm performing 5 days a week, You understand what I'm saying? The payday is great.
Right. Is Africa a part of that first album or second album, or was that a standalone single?
It was actually a standalone single, but you know, they actually added it. When they updated the first album, they added it to the first album because you know, Africa was just something, you know, like a project that we were working on. You know what I'm saying? That we saw what was going on, you know, in Africa and stuff, and we were just inspired, especially with Jesse Jackson's visit, you know, to the frontline states and stuff like that. So, you know, so we were inspired to do that.
What was that recording process like?
With Africa, what's his name? What's his name to play the drums? I forgot his name. You know, but he played like the bongos. You know what I'm saying? We got him. We got Jesse Jackson on it. You know, of course, we recorded. I did the human beatbox on it. You know, it was a good experience doing it and stuff. And then we had teaching guides like in the schools and stuff too.
Right. Oh, so go ahead, E.
No, I just want to make a little sidebar. You know, we just lost True Goy from De La Soul, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I just want to know if maybe you can talk about this a little bit. I saw Daddy Yo recently posted that they got their name, De La Soul, was from.
Yeah.
Was that from the Rock De La Stet?
Yes.
Really?
From Rock De La Stet. Yeah. They got the name from, yeah.
Wow.
You know, but yeah, he's gonna be missed and stuff. And it was, you know, it was a pleasure, you know, because I was on their album. I was on a one cut kicking a beat called Daylight-Cratic.
Oh, word.
Oh, it's Daylight-Cratic.
Yeah. That was me. Yeah, I was kicking the beat for him, you know. So it was definitely a pleasure, you know, working with them and being on that album because that's a historical album. That album is a one of a kind. You will not find an album like that till this day.
Yeah.
That album, very unique. You know, I used to always play that album all the time.
Nice. Yeah, that's dope, man. I used to love that Daylight-Cratic, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Every skit on that album.
Every skit was
you know, a lot of albums after that, you just fast forward through the skits. Like I can just listen to that album all the way through.
Yeah, with Daylight, you could listen to that album from beginning to end. I mean, it was like, you know, the most unique album that I've ever heard, you know. And then, you know, like it's a game show, you know what I'm saying? So that's what made it more unique and stuff, you know.
Right. Dope fun fact.
Yeah. Before you move on to the next album, so I gotta ask you this: what was it like in the process of creating the song "Ghost Stetson"?
Ghost Stetson, originally the beat that it had, it was what's the name of that beat? I know it goes doom da da doom da da doom da 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 doom da doom doom da. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a regular beat, you know, that beat that everybody uses and stuff, you know, to rap off and stuff. But when we did, because we did a few different versions of it, and when we did the drum version, I said, yo, that's it right there. I said, that right there, we need to keep the drums and get rid of the other stuff. But the drums, that's it. I'm telling you, when the clubs play it, they're going to love it, you know. And sure enough, when the clubs played it, yo, everybody was losing their mind, you know. When I remember in Latin Quarters when they played it, the first time I heard it, and I was just chilling, you know what I'm saying? And when they dropped it, everybody was on the dance floor and like, oh, I mean, everybody was on the dance floor.
So were they specifically trying to make a song that was like a Brooklyn type of anthem?
Yes, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have to put Brooklyn on the map and stuff. You know, we have to give Brooklyn, you know, its anthem. You know,
Brooklyn. Because I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong. You know, anybody watching this, correct me or challenge me. I think Brooklyn has the best borough anthem type songs.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, at
You
least
know?
more than any other. You know, others have like one or two. Brooklyn,
Yeah,
Cut Master DC, you
yeah,
guys, you know, Biggie, like you could go
yeah,
on and on and on.
yeah. That's true. I definitely agree with you on
And
that.
that
You know?
Brooklyn one, oh, the one you guys did. All right, I'm getting chills. My bad, man. But
It's
yo,
all good.
you hit it right on the nail there because the drums, you know, to this day when it hits, it hits different, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially
and
when it breaks down and you're like, you know, Brooklyn, New York is, oh my God, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Like and even just the start of the song is fire. You know what I'm
Everything,
saying?
everything. Yo,
Just
tell me if I'm reaching though. Have you guys, or have you ever heard? Has there ever been any comparison of you guys, like sort of the hip hop version of the Temptations?
yeah.
You've heard that before?
I've heard that. As a matter of fact, Big Daddy
I thought
Kane.
maybe I was coming up with that first, but
Yeah, Big Daddy Kane. We was performing and stuff, and one day, you know, we came off stage, and you know, it was his turn to get ready to go on stage. But you know, we shook hands, we hugged, said what's up and stuff, and Kane was like, "Yo, man, you guys are like the Temptations of hip hop and stuff. You know, y'all different voices and
the
stuff just
voices,
stand out.
yeah.
You know, the way that the Temptation voices stand out, but only in hip hop."
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, you know, I like that comparison.
I'm
You
a
know what I'm
huge
saying?
Temptations fan, and I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
revisited some songs before we jumped on, and it came to my mind, like, man, the voice and like you said, finding the other pieces, like you got, you know, which is kind of the process that they went through until they found that, you know, those pieces that meshed well,
yeah.
and
Yes,
all right, dope.
exactly.
Sorry, Sincere. All right, man. I guess
That's all good.
I had to get my fan part out.
That's all good. So, In Full Gear turns 35 this year. What adjustments did you guys make from the first album going into album number 2?
With you know, we learned a lot more, you know, working in the studio and stuff like that, and you know, our creativity had, you know, it developed. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the way the first album was. The second album was more musically inclined and stuff, you know, that even though for some of the stuff we use samples, you know, with music and stuff, I mean, the landscape of hip hop was starting to change. That's the direction that it was taking. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, we started growing and started coming into our own musically.
Right. Believe Sally was your first single off of that album. Is that correct?
Yes. The thing about it, Sally was actually done with the On Fire album, but we didn't release it.
So when you dropped that, what kind of reaction did you guys get?
Oh my good! When we dropped it, if I recall correctly, it dropped at the summer of '88. And you know how when a record drops that you know it's gonna rule the summer, that was the record. That was I mean, don't get me wrong, there were other records that were playing, and you know, but when Sally dropped, I mean, I even hear females walking past, you know, like my window of my house and whatnot, like female named Tanya. Some people don't like the way Tanya, you know what I'm saying? So I knew we had something. I knew we had something there, you know, and you know, everything came together when we put Sally together. I was the one doing the you know, the breathing part and stuff. So,
man, so many fun facts and jewels in this one.
Did you guys? You just said it was done back when the first one. Did you guys touch it up at all for the second? You know, or is it exactly how it was going to be originally?
It was so. I mean, we touched it up because, of course, you know, we wanted to update it a little bit, but it was. Sally was just about. It was just about done. We just didn't put it on the first album. We held off for the second album.
Man, okay.
So what was the chemistry like in the studio, and what was those recording sessions like for this album as opposed to the first one?
For the second one, I mean, I felt, you know, I wasn't on too many of the cuts and stuff, but I was at the studio sessions though. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning. You know, that even here, you know, in my house, I have my own little recording studio and stuff. So, but you know, it was fun doing it and stuff. That even though during that second album, I mean, the only cuts that I was on was DBC Let the Music Play. You know, I did the percussion for Sally, Float On, Stet Troop. I kicked the beat on Stet Troop. I came up with that and produced that cut. You know, but everything else and stuff, you know, the other guys touched up on and stuff. And, you know, like I said, you know, everybody was just you know, developing, you know, because everybody came up with their own ideas, you know, musically and stuff, you know, what should be done, what shouldn't be done and stuff. So little by little, like I said, we were coming into our own musically on the second album.
Right. Now
and
for me, go ahead.
And talking all that jazz, Don Newkirk, you know, rest in peace, played the bass line.
And that's where I was going with my second question, actually. So, you know, for me, I'm from Indiana. Yo MTV Raps played a huge part in my life, Rap City. When Talking All That Jazz came out, I mean, you had to be under a rock if you didn't see that video in heavy rotation. From your point of view, is this where the momentum starts for the second album, or was it with Sally?
It was with Sally, you know, but the thing about Sally, you know, because this is around the time when, well, actually, when we dropped the first album, that's when videos were starting to come out and get a little bit popular and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we used to, you know, tell Tommy Boy, yo, we need a video. We need a video. We need a video for Go Stetson, this and that and that and this. And then we didn't get the video for the first album. So the second album, we dropped our first single, Sally. And we was telling Tommy Boy, we need a video for this. Video is going to help it. And Tommy Boy is like, oh, videos don't sell records. You know what I'm saying? And we was like, everybody was coming out with videos but us at that time. And we was so heated that we didn't get a video for Sally. And Sally till this day is a monster hit for us when we perform it on stage. You know, so we was definitely heated about that. And just you know, just to give you guys like a little what is it called? You know,
Cliff Note?
Inside scoop?
Sort of like an inside scoop. We did film for Unsung.
Okay.
You know, a few weeks ago we filmed, so I don't know when it's coming out yet, but you know, it will be coming out. We filmed for it, so you're gonna hear, you know, our story and stuff like that. I was, you know, happy to film, you know, because I said, wow, now, you know, they get to see, you know, what happened with Stat, because at one time, you know, we sort of disbanded, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we went our separate ways and stuff, but years later we came back together and stuff, you know, and, you know, and here we are.
Right.
What just since you touched on that real quick, what were you, or what did Wise find himself doing during that time when they were, you know, you guys weren't together?
I was recording actually, you know, solo, but I never got to put any material out, you know, because the thing about it, I was going through a lot of issues and stuff, you know, that I would go into the studio and I would record and I would have the cuts record. And it's funny, my brother, you know, my big brother, rest in peace, said to me, Wise, you really need to put this out. It was a song that I came up with called I Get Wicked. You know, and I was rhyming on it and stuff, and the chorus was, you know, it was hot. And my brother used to always say, and the thing about it, my brother picked all the songs that Stetsasonic, that was going to be a hit for Stetsasonic, because I would let him hear the albums in advance, and he said, this is the one, and this is, you know what I'm saying? So he said to me when I started doing solo, he said, Wise, you need to put this out. This is the one. And I never followed through. At that time, I never followed through.
Any chance of one day putting them out?
I have actually new material and stuff that I plan on putting out this year. You know what I'm saying? That
I want to hear that Wicked one, man. I want to hear that Wicked one. That sounded like your brother was very passionate about that one. I think.
Yeah, he really was. He used to, you know, get on my case about that and stuff. And you know,
think about it.
You know, and he's no longer here and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've been working on a solo album. You know, is called Spinoff, because it's gonna be the spinoff for Stetsasonic. You know, I got, you know, my logo is gonna be like that WISE, the way that STET is. Okay. But the only thing, you know, my likeness is going to be on that logo too. You know, I already have everything set up the way that I feel it would work for me if it's pushed right. You know, because spinoff is like the best concept, you know, the best thing that I could think of. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm definitely spinning off of Stetsasonic, and it's like, you know, like one of these TV shows that you see a spinoff of it, and it turns into another show. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, personally, I felt that was the type of thing that, you know, we all should have done, working on a solo album. That, you know, Daddy O calls himself O-Dad. So personally, I think his logo should have been ODAD in that Stets, you know, that Stet logo form. You know what I'm saying? Prince Paul should have had that PAUL and then like a crown in the middle of it. You understand? But we all have that Stet logo next to it so that you know where it came from and stuff. But you know, it is what it is and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were still successful, but I mean, that's my personal opinion though. But this is what I'm going to do for myself though.
All right. Going back to that In Full Gear album, 88 is one of the most magical years ever. Can you take us back to your favorite tour that you were a part of during that time?
Wow, we was a part of a lot of tours. I think the Public Enemy tour was one of the best tours we was on and stuff. You know, Chuck D, gentleman. The guy is a gentleman. He made sure that we had, you know, everything that we needed and stuff for the tour and stuff. You know, that you know, that nothing went wrong for us and stuff, because our very first tour, we was on the Def Jam tour. And, you know, we didn't know anything about touring. So there was this thing called the rider. You know what I'm saying? That when you go into the dressing room, you know, they already know what you want to drink, what you want to eat. And we would go into an empty dressing room. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, but Chuck, you know, they would share what they had, you know, with us and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we were sharing the same tour bus. We was on the same tour bus. So, you know, Chuck and them, they would share, you know, like whatever what it was in the dressing room to eat, to drink and stuff. So, you know, we were okay. And we learned from that first tour. So when the next tour, you know, came, which was in 88, we was on a whole bunch of tours and stuff. And the Public Enemy tour to me was like the best tour. That was the best tour. And the Run's House tour was around that time too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, tougher than leather.
Than leather.
Yeah. But yeah, that Public Enemy tour, where it was I think it was Public Enemy, Ice-T, us, EPMD, Eazy-E and NWA, and who else? It was somebody else, you know. But it was a bomb tour, though. It was a bomb tour.
Right. Go ahead.
Just real quick, since we were talking about 88, your personal favorite year, would you say is 88 one of your favorite years as far as music that came out in general?
Yes. Definitely, I would say 88. You know what I'm saying? That's most definitely I would have. I mean, with Stetsasonic and the way that the hip hop was going at that time, yeah, I would have to say it was 88, because I know 88 we had a very good year that year. We was on tour the entire year, you know, and we was banking the entire year. So, you know, and then you had a lot of other artists that put out a lot of good music in around 88 and stuff, you know, because there was a lot of cats that were developing too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, you had NWA in them, you know, Eazy-E in them, even cats from the West.
EPMD,
yeah,
KRS, Run DMC. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a long list.
yes, that cats were just developing, and the thing about it is that with hip hop back then, everybody had their own sound. You know what I'm saying? That you always knew a Public Enemy record. You always knew a Slick Rick record. You always knew a Big Daddy Kane record, a Rakim record. A Stetsasonic record. You always knew. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody had their own sound. Right. Nowadays, and no disrespect, to each their own and stuff, but nowadays it just sounds like a really long record. Right. You know what I'm saying? With the way that hip hop is, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays it just sounds like a really long record. I mean, I don't take anything away from them, to each their own and stuff like that, and but it just, the music is original, but lyrically, they sound the same. Right. How, with the same exact concept, they're just using different words to say the same, the same concept.
Right. The next year, 1989, Stop the Violent movement forms. Can you take us back to the everything surrounding that and how self-destruction came about?
From what I could recall and stuff, because I knew, we got invited to be on the track and stuff. They was working in the studio on it already and stuff. They had got in contact with us. I forgot who was it. I'm not sure if it was D Nice, because I think he was the one producing it and stuff. Yeah. So but they got in contact with us, about doing the track, especially because we did, tracks like Freedom of Death, and so it would, it blended in with the type of, group that we were and the type of music that we were putting out, because with some of the with some of the music that we put out, some of it had a message and stuff, like I said, when we did Africa for the first album, Freedom of Death, the second album, you know what I'm saying? So we always had some type of message, you know what I'm saying, in our in our albums. So when we got invited, of course, we accepted the invitation and stuff. And, we went in the studio right then and there. We started writing and stuff, and they placed each of us in certain parts, the Light with, we had a big real estate in self-destruction, you know what I'm saying? Because the Light was in the beginning, me and Daddy O was in the middle, and Fruit Corn was going toward the end. So our real estate was pretty big in self-destruction.
Very dope. It took 3 years for your third album. What's going on in between that time with the group?
Yeah, with the third album, it took a hot minute, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there was, like some issues that were going on and stuff, and I kind of don't want to spoil a surprise for Unsung, but right. Let's put it this way, you know what I'm saying? We were recording that album, and that album took a lot longer to record than the first two albums and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was something foul going on, but I don't want to get into it. You know what I'm saying? All is forgiven now,
Right. So this is the prelude to Unsung.
Yeah. All is forgiven now.
At what point did you start getting into commercials? Was that way back during the early parts of Stetsasonic, or was that after the group?
Nah, that was during the early parts of Stetsasonic. I started getting into commercials because it was this we had did a Alka-Seltzer commercial for radio. You know what I'm saying? And the company was called what's the name of it? Not Just Jingles. That was the name of the company, Not Just Jingles. So they got us in the studio to record, the Alka-Seltzer commercial. They wasn't too fond of the Light's voice. You know what I'm saying? But they let him do it anyway. But they wasn't too fond of it and stuff like that. I think they edited his voice out though. But that's what he get for trying to keep me off the first album. but anyway, But anyway, so the guy from Not Just Jingles, because I was a human beatbox, so he had all our numbers and stuff like that. So when the opportunity for the Campbell Soup commercial, because I also did a Campbell Soup commercial for TV, and the guy contacted me. He said, "I really want you to do this, the human beatbox on here and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." You know what I'm saying? He paid me my money and stuff, and and I did it. You know what I'm saying? And I just did like the soundtrack, sort of say, and then they put it together with the cartoons, because they used to come on every Saturday morning with the cartoons, because back in the days, the cartoons and stuff. So it used to come on with that every Saturday mornings, and I was really glad about that, and that people recognized that it was me.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, man, because I read that's where it aired, was on a Saturday morning cartoons, which that in itself is sort of like a classic moment, because we still talk about that to this day. Whenever you refer back to those times, Saturday morning cartoons.
Because y'all know how I was back then. You know what I'm saying?
Get up at like 6 a.m. sometimes, and you cartoons up until like 12.
Gotta get that gotta get the Captain Crunch on
Crunch.
deck.
No doubt.
So that in itself is like something even cool to be able to talk about being a part of, man.
And the thing about it is that a lot of people, like never knew that I did a commercial and stuff for Campbell Soup, and it used to air amidst the Saturday morning cartoons and stuff, But it's okay though. You know what I'm saying? It's cool and whatnot. I ain't mad at nobody and stuff.
Right. So we won't discuss what happens after the Blood, Sweat, and Tears album. I know a lot of time passes by. So at what point do you guys start discussing about getting the band back together?
Maybe like in about like 2000, maybe 2005, 2006. Because Fruit Quan, like around the time that Gravediggers, when Gravediggers came out and stuff, I don't remember exactly what year, but we discussed doing some shows together and stuff, and like I said, all was forgiven and stuff. We got together, we started rehearsing again, started keeping in contact again, and we started doing a lot more shows and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was more or less like 2005 and stuff, that we was like, well, let's do it again. Let's see where we can go.
Right. At what point do you guys discuss working on a new project?
We talked about it actually, like in maybe 2018. Working on a new album and stuff, because the thing about it, one of the issues that we was having, especially here in the States, is when promoters, want to book us for a show, they want to lowball us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we was like, well, we need to come out with some new material, so that way, if the material is hitting and stuff, they could pay us more money.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, we also miss recording together. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, back then it was fun and and going into the big studio. But now, I have a laptop with a program and stuff. Daddy-O has his with a program, and you know what I'm saying? Daddy-O, sends me a beat, and sends me a concept, and I put it into, my workstation, digital audio workstation, and, and I start laying my lyrics down, I send it back, and boom, we have our record done. You know what I'm saying? So technology nowadays is incredible. It's incredible. Because Daddy-O lives in Texas. I live in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Bobby is in New York. The Light is in New Jersey. So, but we still get to record as if we're in the studio together, and it sounds good.
You guys remade that song "Ghost Stets" at one point, right?
Yeah, for the third album. You know what I'm saying?
Which you're on that version.
Yeah, that it's called No BS Allowed.
Right.
That we got a video for it and stuff,
Yeah.
But we basically use like the sort of like the chorus portion of Ghost Stetsa for No BS Allowed. I mean, we figured, that it worked before and stuff, and and it didn't do too bad either. I mean, sometimes you can't duplicate the original, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes people, try to use it, like for example, when Doug and Slick Rick came out with the show, I mean that there's no other cut that he's ever come that could compare to the show that was their monster hit. Right. So when he did that All the Way to Heaven, he had the beat to the show, but it just didn't do the same as the show.
Right.
So there's times you can't duplicate that sound and stuff. That same sound that you came out with the first time, sometimes it won't work for the second album. Or the second cut. It'll make noise, but it's not gonna make as much noise as the original.
First one. Right.
What kind of reception have you guys been receiving for your newer music?
We actually, been getting, like good reviews and stuff like that, because even, we even drop videos for it. You can go on YouTube and you can see our video for Here We Go Again. You can see our video for Now Y'all, because Now Y'all Giving Up Love is the one that the first one we dropped in decades, and video for it. And at that time I was like, oh my goodness, I was like weighing like 256. I just dropped like almost 60 pounds, man. I'm at 199.
Wow, looking good.
Thanks a lot. But I was weighing 256. I didn't like the way I looked in that video. It's true that camera adds, that 20 pounds. That's true. Yeah. If you look at that video, you'd be like, man, why is this heavy?
I just watched it before we jumped on.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, why is this heavy? But on when we did Here We Go Again, that's the second single that we dropped, from this new album. And we did the video because I filmed my portion of the video here. We just piece stuff together, filming it like in our areas because I'm in Virginia, Daddy-O's in town. You know what I'm saying? So we filmed it like I actually filmed my portion, a part of it with my phone. And then I sent them the footage. And then they took, they edited other footage and stuff where we were doing shows and they added that on and stuff. And, and we completed a video and stuff. And the video actually came out pretty good. It wasn't bad.
It is. No, it's not. It is. It actually made me feel good watching it, just to see you guys doing your thing, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, because it's been such a long time. You know what I'm saying? That and then the thing about it now, we have control of that. We don't have to worry about Tommy Boy saying, oh, videos don't sell records, or give us a hard time for a video, or even work on a video budget or whatever. And so, we got peoples for all that now.
Sorry, man, I keep doing that. Good. Two things. I read that you're considered the first Latin human beatbox.
Yeah,
is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, I'm the first Latino human beatboxer, to hit the scene and stuff. Because the thing about it, a lot of people, even till this day, a lot of people don't know that I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where, I got the name Lito Brigante. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a Spanish, clearly it's a Spanish name. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, when we were working on this song, it was Daddy-O and Delight's idea that they said to me, Wise, you really need to use your Spanish heritage this time, man. Let's come out with something and stuff like that. You rapping in Spanish and English, which I am doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm kicking a line in Spanish here and there and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And there's my introductory song called Lito Brigante that the chorus is strictly in Spanish and I'm singing it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm rapping in English, but I throw in a few lines in Spanish and stuff. So the guys told me, and they've been telling me for years. I just didn't think that it was going to work for me. But you know, me myself developing as a rapper now, I made it work.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Cool.
So what's next for Stetsasonic, the group, and what's next for Wise?
For Stetsasonic, you know, like I said, we're working on this album. The album is called Here We Go Again. It's about to drop this year, you know, hopefully along with like around the time Unsung, because I don't know when they dropping that, but the guys wanna try to drop it around that time when Unsung releases, you know, the video and stuff, you know. And what's next for me is I'm actually, like I said, I'm working on a solo album and stuff. It's called Spin-Off, you know. Of course, you know, I was Wise the Human Mix Machine, but as a rapper now, my alter ego is called Lito Brigante. And you know, I got that actually from Carlito's Way.
Carlito's
I don't
Way?
know. Yeah. You know, because you know, his name was Carlito Brigante.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my government name, you know, it's, you know, attached to Lito. So, you know what I'm saying? That Lito Brigante, you know, that I put it together and I asked the guys, what you think about that name? And they said, yo, it's hot, use it. So nice. I was like, okay, I said, I'm gonna start using that name. That's, you know, my alter ego for the human beatbox is the Human Mix Machine. My alter ego for rapping, Lito Brigante.
So
very dope. We want to thank you, Wise, for the opportunity. Thank you for everything you've done for hip hop. Hip hop turns 50 this year. E, you want to take it away?
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, so just like Sincere just said, hip hop is turning 50 this year, man. You've been around for a long time yourself as a participant of the culture. What are your thoughts, man? How do you feel about this culture if I was turning 50 years old this year?
Wow, it's come a long way. You know what I'm saying? It's come a long way, but you know, you got to admit, we ruling. We ruling for real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all over. It's hip hop is all over. Who doesn't love it? You know what I'm saying? Right. Who doesn't love it? And I'm glad, you know what I'm saying, that I came up, you know what I'm saying, that I was a part of it. I could say I was a part of it and stuff, you know, because not too many people could say that, you know, and I'm like, you know, I feel truly blessed, you know, to be a part of it, that at least, you know what I'm saying, like before I pass and stuff like that, you know, I can say I was a part of that right there.
You, man, thank you.
Thank you so much, man. This means a lot to us. And, you know, best wishes moving forward. You need anything, you got that solo project, you need to come back and talk about it. You need us to blast anything else, we're here for you.
Thanks a lot. I definitely appreciate you guys having me on and stuff. You know, it was definitely a pleasure being on here.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Think about dropping that song, please.
Okay.
please. Like Sincere said, continued success, man. Congratulations on everything that's happening for you guys, man. And we'll be looking out for everything coming out.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me on. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
You too. Thank you.